Hello, YouTube. It's your boy Nathan coming to you to do another recap video. Today we are talking 90 Day The Last Resort Season 3, Episode 12, The Last Ghost That Remain. So before we get on into it, I need to make a couple little points here before we get started on some programming notes. Apparently, last night while watching The Last Resort, on TLC apparently aired last week's episode, and didn't air the episode until midnight, apparently East Coast time. So I just want to let you guys a little tip on what to do, like whenever stuff like that happens. So I watch both 90 Day Fiance, all the 90 days on Sunday and Mondays on the TLC Go app. I have TLC Go, and I also have an app walker on my computer, so I could watch the the episodes due like post like the night like at 8 o'clock on both Sunday and Monday nights, and so I'm able to watch them both with no ads and get through the episode. And on Sundays, I usually do my 90 day recaps immediately after the episode and have and done filming by the time the episode is done airing on TLC with the commercials. So I didn't realize last night that the last resort aired last week's episode during the slot time, but on the TLC Go app, it was already up there. So just keep that in mind, guys. Just get the TLC Go app on your computer or on your smart TV or whatever, and just watch 90 Day from there and because you'll be done with it quick, and if something like that happens, you'll still be able to watch the show. So I didn't know that happened because I was still able to see the episode. So yeah, and then another programming note. I For those of you expecting me to be on 90 Day Fiance, honestly, so what I did film with them, but however, we only had to do audio only, and it's only in a podcast format. I'll send you the link. It's only uploaded on the Apple Podcast, audio only and no video. We had just with location issues, we had some technical difficulties with the locations where we were at with filming. So we just did an audio only podcast, and I'll share that link in my community board later. For those of you who have Apple. So yeah. Anyway, enough about the programming notes. So let's get on to this 90 Day The Last Resort Season 3, Episode 12. So we pick up where we left off last week with family therapy with Patrick and Thais and John. So Patrick and Thais and John, we left off with Thais storming out because John was yelling and being completely disrespectful. This episode, John and Patrick are like getting into it because like Patrick is actually finally sick of John uh, um, being completely disrespectful and stuff. And John and Patrick started screaming at each other. Well, John was screaming at Thais, and Patrick was just tired of it. And finally, Patrick finally stood up to John over Thais. He flat out told him, like, if you're gonna keep acting like this, we don't want you in our lives, John. Like this has been going on long enough, and like we dealt with it for years, and I'm sick of it. But Thais's main thing with John is it's just not only with respect, but when they come into the house, say hi to each other. Like John has a hard time doing that, saying hi to each other and stuff. So again, during the therapy session, John and Patrick are arguing with each other, and finally Patrick just got up and left. Like, I'm gonna go check on my wife. Dr. Tyrone like just sat there quietly. I know what he was trying to do because he said it last week on Between the Sheets. What he just wanted to absorb like this dynamic and stuff. But when it starts to become a screaming match, dude, as a therapist, you're supposed to try to de-escalate the situation. So Patrick had to de-escalate it himself by just getting up and leaving and go checking on his wife and stuff and everything. So like John was just like, but that's just like my brother. He called him basically a turtle. He's like, you don't really say nothing. And then later we seen John talking to like Guillermo and everybody else saying that he's proud of him for showing a backbone. I'll get to more of that in a second. So after that session, the we seen Russ and Powell Russ and Powell had a little. It didn't air when they originally did it, but they should set a clip back. Russ and Powell had a private session with Dr. Persia about what happened on their anniversary when Russ got her the necklace that she has constant necklaces from and everything. And but Dr. Persia said that, when told Powell, like, when Russ gives you a gift, like, you should like receive it like in a positive way. And then she told Russ to show like your power when you do that. So she made Russ say something along the lines and like raise his voice and say, "I'm sorry, pal. I love you, pal. we're gonna work on things so we can be happy and whatever." And I guess that night they were intimate. And I guess like a key thing with them is that he's not pleasing her in an intimate way. But I guess like he finally did. And I think like the term that they use is climax with them and stuff or whatever. And I guess he finally like did that to her or whatever. I don't really care, but whatever. So meanwhile, a lot of the other cast members, Rebecca, I think it was Rebecca, Russ and Powell, Sarper, Guillermo, and Thais, and Jenny and Cement, they went to a seance because last week we talked about how the castle that they're staying at might be haunted a little bit. So Rebecca called in a medium to like try to figure out what's going on. So they had like a little seance. The medium, who's also like a psychic or whatever, made them all hold hands and told the spirits to like, be cool or whatever. While they were doing that, they heard like a door like open or whatever. And I think like Russ said on Between the Sheets, like, I hope that was just production, like the producers like playing with us or anything, because that's creepy. But like all the cast members was just like they've had like weird things, like Zia's clothes like randomly fell to the ground, lights flickering off and on, a lock on the inside is locking by itself, some creepy stuff. So I believe it. And I guess is it Russ or Powell or Russ and Powell? Is it Russ or Powell or Sarper and Shekinah that live in where that one lady stays? I forget. So they did a seance, and then this medium, I think her name was Katie, she did like some psychic readings with them cards and stuff. And she started with Russ and Powell. She was like, "Lady in the Blue," referring to Powell. "It seems like your father was absent from your life and everything." And Powell said, "Yeah, he actually really was. He was absent from my life, and that was hard for her and her family growing up." How did she know that? Wow. I'll talk more about that, on how I really feel about that when I go through everybody and everything. Then Rebecca had asked the medium, she was like, "I think my husband might be cheating on me." And she said that she was so she pulled some cards, and she asked Rebecca, "Does your husband know how to use electronics and computers and stuff and everything?" And she said, "Not really." And she said that that's okay. So he probably is doing something enough online that might be, and he's probably lying about something online. And she's like, "Oh my God, I knew it. Now we can go by a psychic reading or whatever." But Rebecca, I think Rebecca kind of is thinking, believe in the psychic or whatever. So then on Between the Sheets, they show what's going on with Sarper and Shekinah. And the medium was just like, Shekinah's just crazy. Shekinah's just too much. And like Sarper said, they asked Sarper, "What are you scared of?" And he was like, "My wife." And she got issues. That's just point blank with that. Now, when he did that with her, I think that was fake. I think that was fake. I think that was hearsay. Same with Patrick and Thais, because she told Thais that your husband probably has some freakiness, like when it comes to the bedroom. And Thais was just like, "Oh my God, you're so right. Patrick is a freak or whatever." And between the sheets, Patrick was just like, "This B word" and stuff. So she only looked at all the stuff negative. She didn't look at anything positive. So do I believe it? Probably not. And I actually agree with Patrick. I don't really believe in these like little psychic card readings and stuff, especially like when they got to the one about Shekinah. I'm like, okay, look, we all know she's crazy. Duh. I'm like, that's a no-brainer and stuff. So yeah. So after the seance, um we've seen the other people that didn't get a chance to go to the seance. We've seen Guillermo meet up with John, and Kara come over, and Zia come over. And Guillermo and Patrick had a conversation about the therapy session. Guillermo kept on saying on between the sheets, if anybody talked to my wife the way that John talked to Thais, man, he kept on telling Patrick, you're so lucky. I would have knocked him out and stuff, whether if he was family or not, because you don't talk about my wife like that and stuff. But he was all nice with John throughout the whole time, and admitted, yeah, John is pretty loud and stuff. So everybody comes in. I guess he got Kara a drink or whatever. And then like Zia comes in, and Zia asked John, like, why do you hate Thais? Like he was like, it's not like I hate her. We just or dislike her. It's just like we just don't get along. We never really get along and stuff and everything. And so then Patrick comes in and it's like, and then John was just like, okay, Pat, let's go talk. Let's go talk. So Patrick and John have a conversation about what happened in therapy, and Patrick just tell him like, bro, you really need to grow up. Like I have never disrespected your current girl, your ex, or anything. Like you can't be screaming at my wife like that and everything. But he was like, well, she could go do like all kinds of stuff and cheat on you and everything. But every time like it falls back on me. He's like, that's not true. That is not true. But he was like, maybe I was a little bit out of line, but somebody had to say it. But I will say, Pat, I'm proud of you because you finally had a backbone. I'm like, dude, so John, did you do that on purpose? Did you do that on purpose? Just like screaming and hollering like that, just to make to get a rise out of Patrick, just to see if he'll do something. See, I can't stand when people do that, and I've seen this on TV shows, and people do that in person. People want will antagonize somebody so much just to see if they'll finally do something. People who don't normally do anything, people just want to see if somebody would just actually do something. And so they say all kinds of nasty things. They do all these nasty things just to see if they will, just to see if they'll pop off. I remember one incident, and this is on TV. Now, guilty pleasure. I only watched a couple seasons of it. I used to watch, I ain't gonna lie, don't judge me. I used to watch the Bad Girls Club when it was on Oxygen. And there was I remember the season. There was season 16. The girls really did bully this girl. I think her name was Kaylee. And she wasn't a fighter and stuff. And she had a mouth on her, but she wasn't a fighter and stuff. And a lot of the girls like tried to like remove her stuff, like throw her stuff down the steps and destroy them, and try to get her to leave the house on her own and stuff. And there was even one incident where they were like hazing her. They were putting like some kind of white powder stuff on her, and then she even got kicked in the back. Like she was trying to walk away, and somebody even kicked her in the back, and she fell to the ground, and she had to go hide in the producer's office. And luckily, the people who did that to her got kicked out the house, but they were doing that just to see if she'll pop off. And they were like, I want her to pop off. I want her to do something, because they kept on calling her weak and stuff. And I looked at that. I was just like, that's crazy. Why would they bully somebody just to see if they would pop off? That, like, we're not in high school. like, you know, no. And I think at that reunion they said that I think the host had said nobody, not everybody handles conflict with physical violence. So I say that in Patrick and John's case because like I don't like how John was just like going off and on, and then telling Patrick, I'm proud of you because you finally stood up for her. I'm like, well, that's his wife, dude. He is gonna stand up for him. But you don't intentionally cause problems just to see if your brother can stick up for her and stuff. So Patrick and John came to an agreement that he was wrong and that like but he needs to apologize to Thais directly. And we want to do this to keep our family together because like John just had a baby, and then there's baby Elise. So the family needs to come together and stuff and everything. So the night ends, and Patrick and Thais, they're doing a crossword puzzle and talking about ghosts and stuff and everything, just some creepy stuff. And then John comes knocking on the door, and Patrick tells John, "Yeah, we're just talking about ghosts and doing crossword puzzles and stuff and everything." And he's like, "Well, man, you lost me at that one." He said, "Lost me at that one." So then they're talking, and then Thais is just like, "Good morning. Good morning, John. Good morning." And he was like, "I was going to say good morning to you and everything, but y'all lost me at the ghost or whatever." And she rolled her eyes. So then they finally came to an agreement. John said, "I was wrong. I'm sorry for going out of line and everything. I'm sorry for yelling the way I did. I was just upset, just looking up to my brother or whatever." Thais did forgive him, and they had a group hug. But the thing is that Thais feels like that Patrick should defend her more in person, whether in person, instead of defending her after Thais leaves the room. Because I think that he doesn't do that because they both realize that John and Thais are both like they both want to be right and they both want to be heard in that moment. So John finally leaves the castle, thank God. But because like I said last week, he's annoying. He really is annoying. He could be funny at times. He did grow on me a little bit, but he's still the same John. He really is. So after that, now all the couples are going to get ready for another round of sex therapy, and they're going to be going to this weird place. Then we have to talk about freaking Sarper and Shekinah. So all the couples got a little note to saying, "Hey, your van is ready. We're gonna go to sex therapy today." Shekinah is still in her moods. Sarper, she's mad at Sarper because Sarper went out for 6 hours last night. He was with the group for the seance. And Shekinah was like, "Where were you last night? You just left for 6 hours and didn't tell me where you're at." And he's like, "I'm hanging with my friends." See, that's more important to you. You're around people who hate me and everything, and you don't want to be there with me. And he's just like, "Shekinah, I can't with you. Like you're in a battle with this with yourself and everything." And she starts crying, I'm not doing this with myself and everything. I just want to be heard. He's like, if you come like Shekinah, like if you just listen to somebody for once in your life and everything, you will feel better. She's just like, I don't want to be heard. I don't want to be heard. And this and that and everything. Like, and he's just irritated. So he's irritated, and Sarper and Shekinah are yelling at each other. So then finally, Shekinah is just like, you know what? Okay, fine. Let's just go. We'll go to sex therapy. I'll go get dressed, and we'll go to sex therapy. Now Sarper all of a sudden doesn't want to go. He's like, no, I'm not going. And Shekinah was when she went into the bathroom to chase, but she was like, you know what? But I want to go now. She slams the door. Then she comes out from getting dressed. She comes out and then she's all in a loving mood. "Oh, come here, my husband. Let's go to sex therapy. I want you. Oh, is this what you want?" And everything. The Sarper's just like, what the heck are you doing? Just a few minutes ago, you were screaming and hollering and being nasty. And now you're coming out acting like this. Like, yeah, baby, is this what you wanted? And everything. Let's go. I want to do sex therapy with you. Oh, you my husband. And I'm like, and Sarper's just like so fake, so fake. And I agree. That was fake. And she even said that this is what she wants to keep. What he wants to keep my mouth shut. I'll do it. Yeah, again, so fake. Now, because on Between the Sheets, she said that the other girls are fake, but look what she's doing. She's being fake. She is being fake. So Sarper's just like, no, I don't trust this. I don't trust you in this mindset right now, what you're doing. We're not going to go. And apparently, again, on Between the Sheets, they said that while they're on that Sarper and Shekinah did get into the van, but then got out of the van. Made no sense. So she kind of was like, screw this, F this. Maybe we should just go do something else or whatever. Because all she kind of is just doing is just staying in the room sleeping. She'll go out every once in a while, but she's completely isolated from everything. She doesn't want to participate in anything because it's always all about her. It's all about her and nothing else. And realistically, everybody else is kind of over it with that incident. I mean, yeah, yes, they all still make them side remarks, but everybody else is trying to work on their marriages at this point. They ain't trying to worry about Shekinah. Yes, they bring her up every once in a while, just given the situation and stuff. But there was a question like, who would Thais rather live with, John or Shekinah? And she was like, but Thais actually said she would choose Shekinah over John. So that's progress. That is progress. But Shekinah is just, she really is playing victim, because I do think that if she just addresses the group and says, I'm sorry, the group will forgive her. If she takes accountability for what she said, the group will forgive her, and I'm sure Thais will eventually apologize and stuff. But she kind of just doesn't want to do that and stuff. So yeah. So anyway, the rest of Patrick and Thais, Karen, Guillermo, and Russ and Powell, and Jenny and Cement went to sex therapy. I guess Rebecca and Zia didn't go because they're still having problems and stuff. And before they went to sex therapy, they showed this on Between the Sheets of Jenny giving Kara some tips, and stuff, and it was pretty weird. So they talk about some like goofy sex stuff, like on their way to this like dungeon area that they're going to, and they get to the dungeon area, and they see Dr. Tara. And there's a lot of like BDSM stuff that they're going to be like trying for next week's episode. Kind of weird, kind of crazy. I ain't going to be talking about it next week. I can tell y'all that now. I am not talking about all that crap next week. So yeah. So yeah, that was basically it for The Last Resort. Again, it wasn't much this week. Just a lot of Patrick and John drama. Shekinah and Sarper. Shekinah just playing victim like she always does, and I'm just over it. I'm over it with Shekinah. I'm over realistically, this season wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't for Shekinah. Because again, I like Sarper. Sarper actually is trying. Like Sarper's grown on me. He has grown on me. But dealing with Shekinah, and I mean, Sarper still got issues that he needs to work on, but dealing with Shekinah has to be a little bit much and stuff, because when we first met Sarper and Shekinah, I was a little bit more on. I was on Shekinah's side throughout their seasons until her very first tell-all, when because I said she has a mouth. Her second tell-all wasn't that bad, but then her 90-day tell-all, when she was going off, when everybody was going off, that was draining. So yeah, Shekinah just needs a little bit more help. And I just wish she would participate more and just like brush it off. I'm like, okay, whatever. Now, if they actually just come at me and just be like, no, you can't do this and that she has a fair argument. Do I think the other people are being a little bit extra with her a little bit? Yes, they are. Yes, they are, because they need to quit talking about it. But at the same time, they bring it up. But at the same time, they're also still working on their marriages. So I just think that Shekinah should just focus on her marriage, and because at this point we're getting nowhere. But anyway, guys, that was basically it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. To all my new subscribers, thank you so much for joining this channel. I hope you guys enjoy my content. Please like and share this video with a friend or 10. Yeah, I will be back on tomorrow to recap Little Singles, the last episode of Little Singles. I can't wait to talk about that. And then we're back for Married at First Sight. So again, so Little Singles will be wrapping up this week. So next week will just be 90 Day and Married at First Sight. And then I think Married at First Sight will got a couple weeks left, and then it'll just be 90 Day for a while until I find something else new to watch to bring to you guys. But again, that's the end of my review, and I'll see y'all again soon. Love you guys. Bye.